Why are new movies so bad now? Okay, just for posterity. Note that at the time of filming this, AI is in a kind of infancy. No, more like an adolescence, where it's acting sort of like a smart aleck kid that knows all the answers but has no idea what it's really talking about. Thing is, as that kid develops, maybe he goes off to college and then his formulaic answers start to make a lot of sense. That's sort of where we are right now. And so I asked AI, why are new movies so bad? And it cracked it out of the park with this answer, and I wanted to get it down before it disappears because tomorrow this answer will probably be different. But right now, at the moment, as of February 16, 2025, this is the reason. And so here it is. This is why new movies are so bad. Many people believe new movies are often considered bad because of A, heavy reliance on sequels, reboots, and franchises over original stories, prioritizing big-budget special effects over strong writing, a focus on catering to a broad audience with safe narratives, and a lack of creative risk-taking by studios due to the pressure to maximize profits, leading to a perception of formulaic and uninspired filmmaking. Wow, isn't that the truth? Thing is, it isn't just a perception. It's a fact. These things are facts. Ultimately, bad is a perception. It is a subjective interpretation. Two people can go to the movies, one will like the movie they just saw, the other will find it something or another. And so we all have different opinions. Okay, but we can also evaluate movies empirically. And there are far more sequels, reboots, and established franchise movies than there have ever been before. There's hardly ever original stories. And it's just a fact that special effects dominate because it's about spectacle now. It's about selling appearance. It's about clickbait, sensationalism. The other thing is, there really is a focus on the broad audience because it's just better for business. As soon as you carve out a particular niche, then you're making your movie exclusionary. Broad audience stuff is just safer for money making. It goes back to that same thing where the most successful politicians are the most neutral ones, the ones that say absolutely nothing. Because as soon as you make a claim or establish an opinion, you're excluding yourself from a potential demographic. As such, it's just best to avoid creativity, avoid taking risks, and make some content that looks great but really says nothing in order to maximize your profit. It's diplomatic for the AI to say that this leads to a perception of formulaic and uninspired filmmaking. But it's just a fact that it is. Gee, that's pretty deconstructive, Pocket, but it doesn't help. What am I supposed to do to help? Well, I'm glad you asked. First of all, you can stop clicking stupid stuff, and you can certainly discontinue use of your streaming services. Just every one of your purchases is a vote, and that goes with your clicks too, and the media you consume. Another thing you can do is go back to the basics. You can return to physical media. The used market is simply saturated with DVDs right now. They're very inexpensive. This shelf is made from a 4x8 sheet of plywood because we bought a lot of well over 1,000 DVDs. How much did we pay for this enormous library of DVDs? I think it was like $250. And I have to admit, there have been some gems. There are a lot of movies that, I've never even heard of that are just spectacular. A lot of dumb ones too. But the thing is, all in all, the experience of watching a DVD is just so much better than streaming services. Also, the process of picking a DVD, just randomly finding something and reading about it and deciding what you're going to watch tonight, Sure beats scrolling through endless menus and advertisements. Strongly consider returning to physical media. Because the probability that the film that you select to watch is going to be good in quotes, well, that is inversely correlated with the year that it was released. There are 20-year-old gems, movies that you haven't even heard of, that are just spectacular. Chances are, if you click on the first thing that they suggest to you on Netflix, it's going to be terrible.
One more thing, just to stir up some controversy. There's an elephant in here that I'll need to address. Some of you will, no doubt, demand that one of the main reasons for why modern movies have become so bad is identity politics. That is, lots of people are blaming what's commonly called the, quote, woke agenda, and to some extent, the accusation is fair. Let's point at just one particularly sensitive example. Here in the US, a country with a population that's 3/4 light-skinned, the new Captain America film features a dark-skinned protagonist, despite the fact that simple probability would suggest the case being somewhat unlikely. Add into this the difficulty of accepting any inverse hypothetical, wherein a traditionally dark character would be swapped with a lighter version, and it becomes sort of hard for one to ignore the new imbalance. Politics is a sinusoidal game of overcorrections, though. Identity politics is not the cause so much as the symptom of a larger problem. The real problem we have here is with an undue cultural preoccupation with safety and fairness. It is incidental which group or groups happens to benefit from fairness at any given time. What I'm saying here is that it's not only missing the target to cry about wokeism in bad movies, but it's also counterproductive, because the complaint adds force to the pendulum, which then further swings out into extremity. And remember, correlation is not causation. In summary, go get some DVDs, sit down, relax, grab some popcorn, and just watch as this period of cultural overcorrection slowly fades out into the distance of time. While we wait, there are a ton of old movies we still haven't seen.